in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
This program is a paid commercial presentation of Inflammation Incorporated. Welcome to this very special and latest edition of the Psychic Friends Network. Once again, hosted by our good friend, 5-time Grammy Award winner, Ms. Dionne Warwick.
Yes. Hope she sings some made-up song.
Thank you so very much. I'd like to welcome everybody to this very special edition of the Psychic Friends Network. We have a terrific show planned for you today.
I miss my Psychics Friend Network. Dionne Warwick singing her hit single, Friends Can Be Lovers and Lovers Can Be Friends. Wow. All right. Friends can be lovers and lovers can be friends. Isn't there a modern day term for that? Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Friends with benefits. Isn't that what she's singing about 30 years ago? Friends with benefits. Friends can be lovers and lovers can be friends. The hit single by Dionne Warwick that no one's heard of. Dude, that's not true. It's on the B side of that Dionne Warwick album where it had a hit on the A side and nothing else. And it's on the B side. And I'm not dogging Dionne Warwick, but just dogging the producers of the commercial. I heard a radio spot down the dial, a on-air personality that I know. He scripted the spot, but I know who wrote the spot because it's just sort of, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like, oh, this person that writes has a style that would give them credit as being a writer. That's sort of 50% of it. Like they can't write. And the other half is it's just sort of, I don't know, amateurish, kindergarten-ish, just sort of silly. It's basic. It's vanilla. It's not creative. And I text this guy last night. Oh boy, that line, I know who came up with that one. And this on-air personality just laughs like, how did you know? I'm like, fingerprint all over that one. Hey, it is a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. The Psychics Friend Network will be coming your way in about 10 minutes. Jason's informing me we have a very abridged version of this program. About 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And the bosses say Dionne Warwick and I don't know the other lady. They're coming in. They're with the Psychics Friends Network. I saw a commercial the other day, Jason, about a psychic, California Psychics. That's today, 2023. You call an 800 number and then you give them a credit card and they pop the credit card for 25 or 50 bucks and tell you that, things are going to be fantastic. Look for some excitement coming in your life. You'll get thirsty later. You'll breathe air. You'll sleep. You're going to drive in a car. You're going to wake up. You're going to see the sunlight. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Hey, tomorrow, another edition of Hillier and Hennigan. Yeah, you're right. I like getting those guys. I've got I think Steve Nelson's going to join me from the Sewage and Water Board. I'm getting a message from the Sewage and Water Board right now. Hey, still in a meeting with Jefferson Parish, folks. Stand by. So trying to figure out, this is a lot going on. The president of the United States, Joe Biden, declares a state of emergency over this saltwater intrusion, this wedge in the Mississippi River for 4 Louisiana parishes. You guessed it, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, where life is hard, getting harder. Orleans, Jefferson, Feds are going to pay like 75, 80% of whatever projects are needed to keep fresh water flowing through the pipes in Metro New Orleans and beyond. Speaking of the pipes, they're talking about barging millions of gallons a day downriver. The problem, what are the numbers? Belle-Chasse about 7 million gallons. Algiers about 12 million gallons a day. Jefferson Parish, 70 million gallons of water a day are used. Orleans Parish, over double that, like 145 million gallons, because like more than half of what New Orleans produces going out of the Sewage and Water Board plant, more than half of what is produced, 10 gallons go out. On the far end of the pipe, only 4 gallons come out of it. More than half is lost. 10 gallons go out of the facility. And in Jefferson Parish, 10 may go out. But at the end of the pipe, 9 are there. They might lose a gallon, like any plant in America. But New Orleans, 10 gallons goes out and 4 come out on the other end. 6 gallons are lost, more than half. So, yeah, even though there's more population in Jefferson Parish, 70 million gallons daily. New Orleans, 145 million gallons daily. The barging down millions of gallons daily is not viable, can't cover everything. They're talking about building a pipeline from the Sewage and Water Board plant, basically the parish line, to north of Kenner, north of the airport. It's about a $300 million project. That's just mind-blowing to me that it's $300 million. Anyway, that's where we are right now on this wide open Wednesday. There's no need to run out and get water, freak out and go get water. Belle-Chasse, still 16 days till this saltwater wedge maybe gets to Belle-Chasse. South of Violet, couple of days after that. Chalmette, about 3 weeks. 3 weeks from Chalmette. About 4 weeks till West Wego. And then after that, you're talking Carrollton, Harahan. The river winds in an interesting way. I mean, right now, this wedge is traveling due north. And as it passes Belle-Chasse, the river basically hooks a right turn, starts going due east, almost southeast, almost a U-turn. Now, I'm talking going upriver, not down. Down's different. It's going to snake wherever it goes. Going up, it's a confusing little trail. Upriver, you're hooking a right past Belle-Chasse. Then you're swinging around at Violet, heading north again, and then due west. The river goes due west through Chalmette, all the way to the French Quarter. And then right there, hooks a turn and goes due south towards Gretna. And then again, due west until about West Wego, where then it jogs due north towards the Carrollton and then Harahan area. I mean, it is a zigzag as it goes up, like it's a zigzag going down. Anyway, it is a lot of time. This sill is going to be built that hopefully slows down things. And then hope and pray, although there is nothing in the forecast right now, that we get a lot of rainfall in Louisiana and Mississippi primarily. Like about 10 good inches of rain over a 4, 5, 6 day period, whatever, over a 10-day period, over a 2-day period, where rivers and streams and bayous and waterways and canals and tributaries are saturated, where they're busting at the seams, flowing into the Mississippi River. And then if we can get that water flow going, we can push this wedge south. It's Mother Nature. We need rain. In the meantime, building up that wedge to buy time, that sill, barging in water eventually, and then maybe building a $300 million pipeline in a short time from New Orleans to north of the airport. Speaking of north of the airport, Kennebra, that's home of the Lamarck Automotive Complex. I-10 at Williams, the car corner, right on the corner, right on the price. The Lamarck Automotive Complex. That's Lamarck Ford, number one Ford dealership. Lamarck Lincoln, number one Lincoln dealership in the state. And now, across the parish, the legendary Ford truck dealership under the Lamarck umbrella. Yeah, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Lamarck
Francesca Deli and
City
Pizzeria
Ford
has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some chicken shawarma. Yummy. I get it a little extra crispy. Like Frank Brightson said, brown means flavor. Chicken shawarma, a little tabbouleh on the side, fried football kibbe, yummy. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette. Yeah, Heba and Carlina, they took care of me today. Carlina always takes care of me. It's easy. Corey, you want your usual or something different? I either get something different or say my usual, and then the phone call's pretty quick. How you doing, Carlina? Good. How about you? Good. Your mom's good? Yeah, she is. Thanks, Carlina. Your family's good? Yep. See you in a few. Bye. Boom. 20 minutes later, I'm at Lebanon's Cafe, picking up a nice to-go order. Chicken shawarma, tabbouleh, fried football kibbe, extra crispy. Just tell them you want Corey's order. They'll tighten you up just like they tighten me up. It's a fantastic lunch. I've got leftover chicken shawarma, leftover pita bread, leftover tabbouleh, knocked out the fried football kibbe. That's like a Lebanese meat pie. Lebanon's Cafe, some of the finest Middle Eastern food in Metro New Orleans. Right by the streetcar barn, Carrollton at Jeanette, where Carrollton Avenue is one lane. The Riverbend section of Uptown, the Carrollton neighborhood, which means not far from Old Jefferson or Old Metairie. Lebanon's Cafe, yummy. Closed on Tuesday. That's the disclaimer. Closed on Tuesday. They're Wednesday through Monday. They are closed on Tuesday. That's why I went today. It's their first day of the week. It's excited to get it. Yummy. Lebanon's. Good stuff. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Guess what? You're the show producer. Whatever you'd like to talk about. Something maybe I'm not talking about at all, neglecting, overlooking. You're the show producer. You produce the program by dialing us up. Jason's fielding your phone calls. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. The New Orleans 504 area code, of course. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. I do have a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. You know, Jason, we said 3 NFL teams represent a state: Minnesota Vikings, Tennessee Titans, Arizona Cardinals. I think we corrected ourselves yesterday. Really, 3 NFL teams represent a region. 3 NFL teams, 3 represent a region. Like New Orleans Saints, they represent a city. Arizona Cardinals representing a state. Then there's some teams that represent a region. I got 3 of them in the NFL of 32. 3 NFL teams that represent a region. I've been asking it the last day or two with saying 2, but it's really 3. We'll answer that trivia question later today if we don't get an answer. 3 stadiums in New Orleans have hosted NFL football games. 3 stadiums in New Orleans. Name the 3. 1 doesn't exist anymore. All right, I told you I was going to 86. I don't know why they all piled up sports-related. Had a lot of sports-related trivia there for a little while. Who was William Claiborne? Claiborne. Who was William Claiborne? Give me the answer to that. I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Hey, any trivia questions? You either know the answer naturally in your brain. You either know it or you don't. No intranet device. That's cheating. You won't be eligible for the gift card. No Google or Yahoo. I don't want you reading the wiki page. Anybody can do that. I want to learn something. My grandfather owned that store, and we used to. I remember growing up in that neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Something like that where you learn something. Not reading the wiki page. Who was William Claiborne? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Who was Antonio de Ulloa? Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. I think he was Louisiana's only four-term governor in Louisiana. He served almost 30 years, like 29 years. Crazy. Louisiana's only four-time governor. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you. At the Woodhouse Day Spa, 5 area locations, 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore. Baton Rouge location by the Mall of Louisiana. Find out more online, woodhousespas.com. Woodhousespas.com. Yeah, they're now open in Mandeville. East Causeway Approach, right across the street from the Mandeville City Hall. About 90 seconds, 2 minutes from the foot of the causeway. 90 seconds, 2 minutes from Trey Yen. Yeah, you right, Mandeville. Woodhouse Day Spa location. Hey, Steve Nelson, the Deputy General Superintendent with the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board. He's going to join us in about 25 minutes, about 4:50. We're going to find out exactly what the Sewage and Water Board's doing. They're talking to Jefferson Parish folks, the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board. How we're going to get fresh drinking water, the 145,000 gallons, 145 million gallons a day that are pumped through New Orleans. 145 million gallons a day. A pipeline. Steve Nelson, Deputy General Superintendent, Sewage and Water Board, in about 25 minutes. Corey Johnson with you, wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. 89 degrees, 58% humidity. Feels like 95. Hey, Jason. If it's a didn't get it because I just sent in a month's worth, that's all. You don't have to take any new info. It's coming. You Woodhouse folks, be patient. You win. You don't get it in 3 days necessarily. Might take a couple of weeks. It's coming. Jason, you have to go now. Corey's getting mad. He's upset. He's yelling. I was going to throw papers in the air, but I need them. Now I hear you folks when they get a little skeptical after a week or two. I won my Woodhouse 5 days ago. My postman's come 4 of the 5 days. Postman's used to be all the time, every day but Sunday. Now, I don't get Saturday mail, maybe like every other Saturday. They kind of show up. Anyway, it's coming, you Woodhouse Day Spa winners. I'd never rip you off, sell you out. You got to be patient. 5, 6, 7 days after winning. It's coming. Jeez, and Pizza Parlor, says Greg Brady. We're staying out till 8:30 tonight. Oh, boy. Coming up, Steve Nelson from the Sewage and Water Board. Oh, I could see you on the other side of the glass, Jason. You're like, I knew it was Woodhouse Day Spa related. Over 50 arrested in Philadelphia, just ransacking a store, liquor store, just crazy. I don't hope this happens, but it's going to happen. It's inevitable. I mean, we're kind of lucky. We had like a big, I don't like using these terms because I don't think it really applies. You can't just put this umbrella. But you had, say, like extreme MAGA folks like Charlottesville. And you had extreme, left-wing lunatics like folks that riot and burn public and private property in Portland, take over part of Seattle. Just insane. We've had these kind of extreme things go down. And, you're you're kind of we're glad that it's died down. Let me put it to you that way. And I'm not saying it's gone away. And some folks on the extreme left and extreme right don't want it to go away. But both sides are like getting more armed all the time. And it's mostly a bunch of men that are older than me, that are more out of shape than me, and I'm not in great shape. They're fatter, more out of shape than me. They sit around and think they're like soldiers. I mean, I think in my head, I could go run 10, routes and Drew Brees could throw the football to me. I'd run about 3 pass routes. I'm like, dude, can I catch my breath for a minute? I'm not 25 anymore. But these dopey folks that shoot at the range, these gun zealots, not gun professionals, gun zealots, major difference. No, these idiots on both sides, loony left, wacky right, want to go to war. So I'm glad that's kind of died down, that it's sort of, it seemed like it was like at a boiling point where we're going to have some literal shootout of dopes in, vests and gear, extreme loony left and wacky right shooting at each other, missing everybody and hitting property and, civilians, innocent people. Just ridiculous. A bunch of children with guns. It's dangerous. So that's sort of simmered down, the extreme MAGA, the extreme Black Lives Matter. The extreme. I don't like when folks go, it's a Black Lives Matter, it's MAGA. But it depends. There's different versions of those. Those are decentralized groups. They don't have a P.O. box or a president or a board of directors. You can't just Black Lives Matter rioters. MAGA. So you can't say that. They're MAGA folks that love Trump and right-wing conservatism and never would be like that. And they're liberals that aren't burning property. I'll finish that thought and more next.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, With 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville, a day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, since 1940, pretty amazing. Pre-World War II for America, Young's Dry Cleaning got started. They really are a New Orleans institution. 83 years, 4th generation. Walk-up locations. That's kind of old school. That's the way I do it, believe it or not. Today's preferred method of dry cleaning, Young's absolutely free pickup and delivery, East Bank or West Bank. Or the future of dry cleaning today, a Young's exclusive. It's called Young's Express. It's their manless locker locations. You drop off your dirty stuff in a safe and secure Young's locker. 2 short days later, pick it all up perfectly dry cleaned. If you go to youngsdrycleaning.com, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of Young's Express locations all over Metro New Orleans, probably right under your nose where you work, where you live. You didn't even know it. You want to experience the best dry cleaner? youngsdrycleaning.com. Tired of your dry cleaner? Want to experience the best? youngsdrycleaning.com. Hey, Damian Michaels is with us from Relevant Studios. How you doing, Damian?
Good, Corey. How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks. Hey, man, you're one of those professionals. I was asking you, a simple question. I kind of think it's sort of the same thing, and until you think about it, and then you realize it isn't. You explained to us the differences between like advertising and marketing. When we visited a few weeks ago, I was thinking about this and you kind of threw it out there. I think it's a really great question. What's the difference between like products and brands?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. You can have a brand without a product, but you can't have a product without a brand. And basically products are like checkers and brands are like chess, and I'll explain. Products can come and go, but brands themselves are an experience that someone who manufactures something or makes something or is trying to convey an idea, they have a premise and promise that they're trying to deliver on. The products usually deliver upon that, but the products have to live up to to what the brand stands for and deliver on that and make sure that whatever that you're trying to say about the brand is reinforced in the product. The product itself can evolve with consumer taste, times. At one time, you could go into your local soda shop and get a nice, refreshing glass of Coca-Cola that literally had cocaine in it. So at some point that someone figured out that wasn't very wise and you could evolve away from it. But Coca-Cola themselves built an extraordinarily powerful brand of, open happiness, smile with a Coke or Coke with a smile. And so they built this incredible brand. And if you look now at their organization, the actual original product is a very minority aspect of their portfolio. So again, here you have a product that changed over time, and the brand became more powerful, and it evolved.
What are the other products outside of that Coca-Cola product?
Well, they have Dasani waters, they have sports drinks, they have smart water. I mean, there's a ton of things that they do, and then they got into snacks. I mean, years ago, Pepsi decided that, hey, wait a minute, sugary drinks are a problem, so they're going to get into the snack business. So you have the power of a brand that can be the overarching ethos for what a company stands for, but the products come and go, and it's a very big distinction.
No, it's interesting.
When you talk about.
Yeah.
So when you go to develop a product, it's a very short development cycle, but when you go to develop a brand, it sometimes takes generations to really get right.
No, I mean, you and I would like to just split the profits of the Coca-Cola merchandise, just like trays and towels and anything that has Coke on. I mean, that's another spin-off thing that he doesn't even have anything to do with beverages. So no, that's really interesting. And I've noticed lately, Damien, these brands that are so powerful, they'll put that brand on a product that has nothing to do with what the brand's known for specifically, like Bud Light. And that's a bad one to talk about today, I guess, because they're plummeting, maybe trying to rebound, but they'll have like Bud Light Seltzer. So when Bud Light had like Bud Light Lime, you knew it was Bud Light beer with lime in it. Bud Light Seltzer, one might assume, is Bud Light beer with seltzer, but it has no Bud Light beer in it at all. And there's a lot of products. Corona, they're hooking onto that product and brand, I guess, to push another product.
Yeah, seltzer is a unique opportunity in the beverage space. It's mainly aimed at women or people who don't want to, they may want to imbibe, an adult beverage, an alcoholic beverage, but they don't want it too concentrated, too heavy, so they can still be social, but in the same respect, not have the after effects, physicality, et cetera. And they can drive with confidence if they limit it to one and food and the whole 9 yards.
Isn't that a good example, though, since there's no Corona beer in those products, there's no Bud Light in the product, they're just sort of tailgating, piggy, whatever, riding the, coattails of that name?
Yeah, they're using the brand as an overarching trust opportunity to go into another segment in which they may their main product that they started with may not appeal to. So they're using products to diversify their base of consumers, and so that's why brands are very powerful, and products can be powerful, but they have a limited shelf life.
No, it's just smart. The Corona beer drinker might try the Corona product that doesn't have Corona beer in it. The person that doesn't want to drink Corona beer might try it because they don't want to drink beer. And then somebody who respects the Corona brand, knows it's a quality product, might try it. So it is pretty ingenious. We could talk about that like a bunch more times. Let's do that another day. But I wanted to bring up another local product that I don't think a lot of people know about. We know about Tabasco and Avery Island and local owned Balmer Foods and Crystal Hot Sauce. I don't think a lot of people realize that Tiger Sauce is a New Orleans product, essentially.
Yeah, it's really had an interesting zigzag throughout history. It's a 100-year-old brand, but not many people realize. In fact, the owner of Riley Foods didn't realize it. They thought they purchased the brand in the 70s, and we went back and found that this was an actual sauce. Try Me sauces is what they were originally called. The Tiger Sauce, I think, goes all the way back to like 1919 or something. And in fact, in 1957, I think it was, there was Exxon used to have the Tiger as their mascot.
So
they ran a campaign that said put a tiger in your tank and a tiger on your table, and they were giving away a free bottle of tiger sauce to most.
God, I think I remember that. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a little beyond my time, but
it's like early 70s, 60s.
Yeah, well, we bought the brand in the 70s and started making it. It's a fantastic product. It's in the hot sauce category. Sweet heat is a growing trend, and this thing kind of falls right in there. And what's funny about it is it has a nice little consumer following. It's a killer product. It's fun. You can put almost anything, and it really blends well with a lot of different smoked meats and things that have a balance of acid. But it took off like a rocket during the beginning of COVID, because I don't know if you remember this little show called The Tiger King, and people started joking that Carol Baskin put it on her ex-husband before she went to the Tigers, and it became like this massively wildfire meme, and we had a hard time keeping up with demand. It was really quite phenomenal, and so we got a lot of awareness just from what was really a bad joke and poor taste on the internet. But it did expose a lot of people to this brand, and all of a sudden, you could tell why Sweet Heat took off as a flavor profile in the hot sauce category, because people thoroughly enjoyed this, and they were trying to figure out how to buy in gallon jugs, et cetera. So it's interesting how sometimes, you try to do things to excite consumers and make them aware of products, and then they just take a life of their own and take off like a rocket. So you just never know. My joke is you always got to get out there and hit singles and doubles, and at some point the consumer will pick up one of those balls and turn it into a home run. But you don't get to be a home run if you don't get to the plate and hit singles and doubles.
Yeah. Cayenne pepper, crushed red pepper, chili peppers, sugar. Well, that's a good combo right there. And a bunch of other good things too in there, like oregano and garlic powder. Tiger sauce, another New Orleans product. It's unreal, the food and products that come out of here. Hey, Damian, always a pleasure, man. Let's pick it back up next week. I would like to kind of talk a little bit more about the products and brands.
Yeah, there are great examples. Modelo, if you remember the campaign about the most interesting man in the world, that's a campaign that put a brand on the map. And of course, now they're benefiting from the beer wars. And so it's just the power of brand and capturing the consumer imagination and getting people to align with your belief system. So yeah, it's really, really interesting consumer psychology, and brands are around forever, but products are not. So way to look at it.
That's a good way to end it too. Damian Michaels, Relevant Studios. Thanks as always.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
What's your name? Putting in things. New Orleanians that know Helm Paint and Decorating. We just do. For over 50 years, when it's time to paint, you go to Helm. Some folks in New Orleans that are uninformed might go to some national chain store. Mind-blowing. Might go to the big box store. Mind-blowing. I'm going to Helm Paint and Decorating. Paint is what they do for over 50 years, taking care of us. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans: East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, Mandeville, Hammond. And now check this out. You Baton Rouge folks, you can experience the best paint store, maybe in the world. Local Yaddy New Orleanians taking care of New Orleanians. Now it's local Baton Rouge folks taking care of Baton Rouge folks the Helm Paint and Decorating way. That's a lot of great service for you, Baton Rouge. Taking care of you with high-quality Benjamin Moore products. All the other things you need to get the job done right. Plus free 2-hour delivery anywhere in Metro Baton Rouge. That includes Gonzales. That includes West Baton Rouge Parish. Like Bruley, Port Allen, Scotlandville, by LSU, downtown Spanish Town, Woodlawn, wherever you might be in Baton Rouge. Helm Paint and Decorating. 4 Baton Rouge locations, taking over Harrison Paint and bringing in the Helm Paint and Decorating way to Baton Rouge. That means service. That means taking care of you. New Orleans paint stores since 1969. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, and now when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge. Do it once, do it right. Let them steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans. 4 locations in Metro Baton Rouge, the capital city, Tiger Town. Now Helm Country. Yeah, you right. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Tomorrow, another edition of Hillier and Hennigan. Right-leaning Quinn Hillier, left-leaning Ellis Hennigan. President Biden declares a state of emergency over this saltwater intrusion in the Mississippi River. The feds are going to pay 75%, 80% of any project we do, which could include a pipeline from like the Sewage and Water Board, right at the parish line, all the way north of Kenner, north of the airport, about a 15, 16, 18-mile pipeline, about a $300 million pipeline. Over 50 arrested in Philly, ransacking stores, including liquor stores, a Lululemon. These people are nuts. You know where the police screwed up, Jason? Shut the doors. They should have just shut the doors to the store, put some handcuffs on the doors, and then a few cops, go make sure no one goes out the back door, and then just, hey, folks, calm down, or keep breaking up the store. We're videoing all this, and that'll just extend your jail time. You with the hockey mask, you without the mask, where you can clearly see your face. You're all getting arrested. You're all going to jail. Now, you know what sadly is going to happen? A policeman is going to start getting beat up. He's going to pull out his gun and he's going to shoot somebody. And it's going to be some stupid kid looting the store. And it's going to be some black-white thing. Or it's going to be a citizen shooting one of these looters. No, it's insane behavior. This behavior, and I'm seeing a lot of videos of gangs of kids, like anywhere from like 15 to maybe early 20s, just attacking a single kid and beating the crap out of him. Boys and girls, or young men and young women participating. The person's down on the ground, they're kicking him in the face, beating him, just insane. I don't get it. This behavior, this looting stores, ransacking stores, no, someone is going to get shot and killed. And righteous people are going to freak out and complain about it like it's some racist thing. And righteous people on the other side are going to freak out about it and say it's a criminal thing. It's going to be not a good situation. We need to get some control of this lawlessness, this blatant lawlessness. It's crazy. Can't keep happening. A 3-alarm fire destroys this tire shop on St. Claude and Louisa. One of those, tire shops in the hood, old gas station from like the 50s, barely a building, bunch of tires. They do a lot of patching, bunch of plugging, sell used tires, some new tires. There's a lot of these in inner city America, a lot of these in New Orleans. The one on St. Claude at Louisa, across the street from the old Mandich restaurant. I'd come out of Mandich 20 years ago at 10:30 at night, 11 at night, and they'd be fixing tires on a Friday or Saturday night across the street. Post-Katrina, the days and weeks after Katrina with so much debris and crap in the street, folks that were trying to get stuff done, police, media like me, relied on that tire repair shop, plug-in tires. The NOPD, I watched them every day for the first few weeks. They're bringing in like generators. There must have been 10 generators when it was all said and done. Some new, some used, some confiscated, to keep that tire place lit up and running full power. It's like a neighborhood magnet. Folks hanging out there. I must have gone in there 5 times in a month. Half dozen times in a month. Never raised the price. Always like $10 to plug a tire. I remember giving them a 20 every time. Like, y'all are saving my rear end. No, NOPD brought generators over there to keep that place going 24/7 because they were plugging NOPD vehicles. 3-alarm fire destroying that tire shop on St. Claude at Louisa, across the street from the old wonderful Mandich restaurant. Boy, was that place good. Mandich, that thin panade veal, the crab bisque, crawfish etouffee you actually wanted to eat. Boy, is that a dish that a lot of people just make in a mediocre to terrible way. I miss Mandich, Blue Boy. What's that, buddy? 5 o'clock powwow next. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Yes. What a brilliant cartoon.
A thunder of jets
And cartoons within a cartoon. It's talking about brands and products. Rocky and Bullwinkle is the brand. Boy, the products, Go Go Gophers, Boris and Natasha,
Starring that
Peabody.
Rocket J. Squirrel.
Lots of good
With
ones.
his pal Bullwinkle the
The
Moose.
Mounties. Yeah. It's like 4 or 5 cartoons within that cartoon. We're missing a few.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
I'm coming as fast as I can. I hear you, Bullwinkle. Rocky's fast. Great cartoons. I loved Rocky and Bullwinkle, the Jetsons, Johnny Quest. Are you kidding me? Just great cartoons from the 60s. Cartoons adults could actually watch. Yeah, you, right. Corey Johnson with you. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. I love Wide Open Wednesday, where you're the show producer. Anything goes on Wide Open Wednesday. Phone lines wide open. Rouse's Markets phone lines 766-9480. 766-9480. Steve Nelson, Deputy General Superintendent with the Sewage and Water Board, is going to join us within the hour. Give us an update on what's going on there. It is the 5 o'clock power hour. A lot going on in Metro New Orleans. President Biden declares a state of emergency over this saltwater intrusion in the Mississippi River, threatening our drinking supply. Federal money. That means the feds are going to pay 75, 80% of any project we do down here. And they're talking about a pipeline because barging in millions of gallons of water daily is possible, but not enough to cover the metro area. About 7 million gallons a day produced out of Belle Chase. About 12 million gallons a day produced in Algiers. 70 million gallons a day produced in Jefferson Parish. 145 million a day produced in Orleans. Now, Jefferson Parish, Belle Chase, Algiers, probably for every 10 gallons that goes out, 9 gallons ends up at the end of the pipe. They might lose a gallon through leaks and holes and inefficiency, whatever. In New Orleans, I'm not making this up. For every 10 gallons that goes out, there might be 4 gallons at the end of the pipe. 6 gallons are lost. More than half. That's why Jefferson Parish at 70 million gallons a day, New Orleans more than double, 145 million gallons a day, because more than half is lost. We'll visit with Steve Nelson with the Sewage and Water Board this hour. He's in a meeting with Jefferson Parish folks, local and federal folks. We'll find out about these meetings and what's going on, because it's like all hands on deck right now. They're talking about maybe 16 days, Belle Chase, the middle of next month. Then a few days later, south of Violet. And then a few days after that, maybe 3 weeks to Chalmette. Then it's a few days later, Algiers and the French Quarter and Gretna and Marrero, and then Carrollton and Harahan, maybe in about a month. So 16 days Belle Chase, 3 weeks Chalmette, 4 weeks West Wego, 4.5 weeks Harahan. That's the best guesstimation right now. That's the best guesstimation right now. No, what we need is a lot of rain. What we need is 10 inches of rain saturating Louisiana and Mississippi, not just like around here, because we need all those bayous and streams and waterways, rivers, tributaries leading into the Mississippi River across the state of Mississippi and the state of Louisiana. We need 10 inches of rain over that area to swell those waterways, so that water flows into a, ideally, it's never going to be swollen, but a more vibrant, higher water level, better rate of flow going down the Mississippi to push that salt wedge south. Steve Nelson is going to join us from the Sewerage and Water Board in a few minutes. Over 50 arrested in Philadelphia. I don't know if you saw the video, a Lululemon athletic store just ransacking the store, and then a few other stores, including a liquor store. A lot of these people on video, police showing up like in a van in a timely manner. A lot of these idiots got away, but a lot were arrested. People shooting video and then posting it. Now, there's some sick people out there. It is a crazy world. Sadly, what's going to happen is these, like, just most of these people that seem to be ransacking these stores, doing this crazy stuff, I don't know, I'm guessing in between like 15, 16 years old and maybe 22, 23, 24, 25 at the most. Now, someone's going to get shot and killed. Either a policeman's going to shoot and kill somebody or a citizen, store owner. No, this lawlessness, this kind of behavior coupled with these young folks that, like, there'll be someone walking down the street and they'll just cold cock someone or hit them over the head and then just beat the, like, all of a sudden it's like ants on a sugar cube. People come out of the woodwork, 6, 8, 10 people, video being shot from different directions and just beating the crap out of some innocent person. Just beating the crap out of them in a absurdly violent way. No, just something wrong with these. I mean, basically kids. No, just insane lack of parenting. And just the folks shooting the video and the people that aren't even participating in the person getting beat up or like cheering it on and laughing and enjoying it. Just some sick individuals out there. And then this ransacking of stores, just some sick criminal individuals out there. There are stores like Target in like major metropolitan areas, kind of left-leaning metropolitan areas like Portland and Seattle, some Targets in California that are abandoning those cities, closing down the Target because they're getting ransacked, or there's lots of theft, or there's even physical damage to the store. They're like, the hell with this. We don't need this. It's not worth the hassle. It's mind-blowing. It's like you're driving out businesses in your own neighborhood, making your life worse because you have just this juvenile, insane behavior. I don't get it. Hey, the 5 o'clock Power Hour on a wide open Wednesday brought to you by Leidenheimer Baking Company. Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants for generations, Leidenheimer French bread. Chances are that po' boy you enjoy is being served on Leidenheimer French bread. 5 generations, family owned and operated, Leidenheimer French bread. For over 125 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread. The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer Baking Company. 3 centuries now. Since 1896. In their 3rd century, over 125 years. 5 o'clock Power Hour. Brought to you by Leidenheimer Baking Company. Still baking that bread right here in New Orleans proper, Orleans Parish. Yeah, you right. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Tomorrow, another edition of Hillier and Hennigan. Right-leaning Quinn Hillier, left-leaning Ellis Hennigan join us. Hey, I've got a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. 3 NFL teams represent a region. You got teams that represent a city, New Orleans Saints. You got teams that represent a state, Tennessee Titans. And then you have 3 NFL teams that represent a region. More than the city name or a state, a region. More than a city, less than a state. Name those 3 NFL teams. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse if you can do it. 766-9480. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. New Orleans has had NFL teams play games in 3 local stadiums. One doesn't exist. Name those 3 stadiums. 766-9480. Who was William Claiborne? 766-9480. Who was Antonio De Ulloa? 766-9480. Louisiana's only 4-term governor? 766-9480. Pick your poison. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. You got answers? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. last week. I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? And he said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Hey, Buddy D said it. Best form of flattery imitation. I've been talking about real natural diamonds for over a year now because I noticed this trend. 2 things. Man-made, 3-week-old lab-created diamonds. I'm like, what a farce. I mean, isn't a natural diamond a billion years old, something unique, something special? Now we're going to make man-made diamonds, lab-created, and think they're the same, they're equal? It's a joke. So that alone. And then these diamond jewelry stores. Not like it used to be a jewelry store. Go in there and get jewelry, get a watch. Well, now it's just strictly like diamonds is all they sell. No watches, no gold. Might come, gold with the diamond, but it's about diamonds. And it's about 3-week-old, man-made, lab-created diamonds. Garbage, junk. The market's getting flooded. They depreciate in value every second, every minute, every day, every week, every month, every year. Just straight down in depreciation. And here's the biggest thing. They're not real. They're not authentic. They're not natural. They're not a billion years old. You're getting these diamonds for your wife, for your girlfriend, for the most important person in your life, your significant other. Diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelet, diamond necklace, maybe an engagement ring. You want it to be real, natural diamonds, and you want the best. It's a lifetime purchase, a lifetime investment. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Go see Ken Friend. You can set up an appointment to see him one-on-one. Go visit him at the store. He'll see you when they're closed, before or after hours, one-on-one. They've got diamonds for every price range, literally. They have diamonds, necklaces, tennis bracelets, engagement rings, maybe over $100,000. Lots of things that are tens of thousands of dollars and thousands of dollars. And what I love about Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, they have an entire room of real natural diamond jewelry. Everything in it under $1,000. You truly do have a friend in the jewelry business. Go see Ken Friend at Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Real natural diamonds. A billion years old. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. In the Carrollton section of Uptown by the Riverbend. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Rouse's Markets phone lines 766-9480. 766-9480. 3 NFL teams represent a region. I think I'm about to give that answer away unless you have it. I'm looking for the 3 NFL teams that represent a region. You've got teams that represent a city. New Orleans Saints. You got teams that represent a state. 3 of them. Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings, Tennessee Titans. Then you have 3 more NFL teams that represent a region. More than a city, more than a state. They represent a region. Several states, multiple towns and cities. There are 3 of them. Name them. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. You got the answer? I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. 5 area locations. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. No cheating. You either know the answer or you don't. No Google, no intranet. 3 NFL stadiums in New Orleans. I shouldn't say 3 NFL stadiums. 3 stadiums in New Orleans where NFL games were played. 3. 1 doesn't exist anymore. Name those 3 stadiums. I'm going to give that answer out before the show is up, before the hour is up. Who was William Claiborne? 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Who was Antonio de Ulloa? Give me the answer to any of these questions. 50 big bucks at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 766-9480. I think he's Louisiana's only 4-term governor. Let's say 4-time governor. 766-9480. Name him. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse if you have answers to any of those questions. Corey Johnson with you on the radio weekdays 4 to 6. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Live streaming from our website, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled Kaare. Kaare. CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube right now, live on YouTube or after the fact. Check out yesterday's program, last week, last month. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send the link to some friends. It doesn't cost anything. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. 4 to 6 o'clock weekdays. Hey, television audience, Cox Channel 4, that's Your View, Louisiana, 4 to 5:30. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program simulcast on TV. Cox Channel 4, and you charter television subscribers, Spectrum Channel 333, 4 to 5:30 weekdays. If you're watching on TV right now on Cox Channel 4, Spectrum 333 today, any day, and you know 5:30 is coming up. We're about to call it a day on TV. We're rolling for 30 more minutes on radio, 93.9 FM. On YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson, or live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. So you can check us out other ways if you are checking us out on TV, at least till 6. Tomorrow, another edition of Hillier and Hennigan. Right-leaning Quinn Hillier, left-leaning Ellis Hennigan. That's mañana on the program. President Biden declares a state of emergency for 4 parishes: Plaquemine, St. Bernard, Orleans, Jefferson. This saltwater wedge, this saltwater intrusion coming up the Mississippi River. Declaring that 4-parish state of emergency, that means the feds are going to pay for 75%, maybe 80% of any projects we do to get that water, fresh water here. That means barging it in, Army Corps, and that's not going to be enough barging it in. So they're talking about a pipeline. A $300 million. I don't see how a 15-mile pipeline can cost $300 million, but I guess quickly expediting it, quickly building it, making it permanent. Like it's not just for this emergency. We'd be using it for future emergencies. $300 million. And we could extend it farther north up the Mississippi if this saltwater intrusion continues to go north. So it's for now and the future. About 15 miles from the sewage and water board plant at the parish line, all the way north of the airport, from what I understand. North of the airport in Kenner. About 15-mile pipeline. About a $350 million pipeline. Corey Johnson with you. All the way till 6 o'clock. Yeah, you're right. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. 766-9480. Hey, if you're on the Causeway heading to Mandeville, why don't you fire in a to-go order at Trey Inn? Curbside delivery. They walk it right out to your car. Trey Inn in Mandeville, 985-626-4476. 626-4476. Curbside delivery. Get a big to-go order at Trey Inn in Mandeville. Or dine in. You North Shore folks know where it is, at the foot of the Causeway in Mandeville. That means South Shore folks, 25 short minutes from Lakeside Mall to Mandeville, door to door. Not 30 minutes, not 40 minutes. 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center to Mandeville and Trey Inn. Yummy. Hey, TV audience, we will see you mañana. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. CoreyTalks.com, 93.9 FM to continue. 4 to 5:30 weekdays on TV. So we do bid our TV audience adieu. Adios. Wide Open Wednesday. Corey Johnson with you. We're going to hook up with Steve Nelson. He's the Deputy General Superintendent with the Sewage and Water Board. Doing that before 6 o'clock. Find out exactly what's going on. 89 degrees today. Finally. We're finally getting out of it. There's no more 90s. Low now, low 70s some mornings when we get up. Low to mid 70s and mid now, not high 80s, mid to high 80s. Like it's creeping down every day, every week. In about 2 or 3 weeks, I think we're going to be clear. It's going to be high 60s, early 70s when you wake up, and highs around 80, 82, 83. Lower humidity. Nice. Nice stuff's on the way, New Orleans. Our non-summer is about to start. We are on the literal tail end of our 6-month or so summer. 5 months, a few weeks into our 6-month summer season. And now we're about to enter our 6-month non-summer season. That gets a big yeah, you're right, especially after that 4 or 5 week 97 degree, 99 degree, 101 degree, 104 at Kenner at the airport a month ago. It's just insane. Crazy. Now, the crazy thing is a normal summer in 95 degrees feels like 100. We were getting 100 degrees, feels like 120. It was like a 20, 25 degree feels like difference. No, just dangerous, life-threatening, health issues for people. Insane. Speaking of us insane, over 50 arrested in Philadelphia, ransacking stores, liquor store, Lululemon, just a bunch of idiots, like 15 to 25. And the people videoing it and giggling and laughing and excited about it. And then when the police show up, it flips to, video that, just hoping and praying there's some like white on black crime committed. It's mind-blowing. Here's the real deal in America. Black, white, yellow, green. Most people are normal. Most people don't like violence. Most people don't appreciate crime. Most people don't like juveniles or young adults doing this kind of crap and getting off on it, laughing, videotaping it, posting it on social media. Insane. No, what's going to happen is police, black or white, are going to shoot somebody, black or white. Or a citizen's going to shoot someone for looting, for these ransacking of stores. It's obnoxious. Coupled with these videos that are popping up every day, some innocent person walking down the street. And it's not like the Asian lady getting punched in the face by that 39-year-old criminal who was let out of jail. That guy is crazy, like clinically crazy, literally crazy. Should have never been let out publicly. Now, I'm talking about non-crazy, 15 to 25 years old, same age group that's ransacking stores, attacking like an innocent kid, their same age, for like no reason, and just beating the crap out of them, like 5, 6, 7 kids, attacking this kid or even an adult, even a vulnerable adult in broad daylight. And then out of the woodwork, a bunch of other young kids or kids, young adults jump out and start beating the crap out of the person too. Person's like crying, begging for their life, screaming for help. Others are videoing from different angles. No, it's criminal. And what's great is they're arresting the people doing the beating and arresting the people shooting the video and posting the video. Now, these, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go, this younger generation, okay? But just when you see this kind of stuff, when you hear comments, I mean, I'm listening to this comment from this young college-educated kid, about 25, smart, articulate. Just, I'm with him 100%. He's right on the money until the last sentence, the last thought. Basically, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I don't understand what's going on in D.C. You just keep running up this deficit. You just keep borrowing money, spend. This deficit's at $29 trillion. I honestly don't understand how your generation expects our generation to pay down that $29 trillion debt, especially when we don't intend on working. I was like, what? I mean, I have to rewind it. Especially when we don't intend on working. What are you going to do with mom and dad? Car note, mortgage, it's free. It gets paid for. What? Don't intend on working. Just mind-blowing. That intelligent person with that conclusion, that final thought, no, like head implosion, mind implosion. And then you watch video of ransacking stores, these idiot kids. How'd you like to be a cop in that? If I'm a cop, I'm beating the crap out of those criminals. Seriously. Baton, whatever. Tasing. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh, no, these criminals ransacking the store, they have rights. They shouldn't get beat by police or tased. Should get the crap beat out of them by police. It's insane. And then these idiots that attack people, they should get the crap beat out of them by police or citizens. No, it's nutty. I mean, there's just right and wrong. There's right and wrong. There isn't police, anti-police. There's right and wrong. There are police that do wrong, and they're the majority of police that do heroic stuff that's underpaid. You know, I can't stand when folks post stuff like Black Lives Matter, MAGA. Like, this is a MAGA group, this Black Lives Matter, and it's like it's all encompassing. First off, Black Lives Matter and MAGA are similar things. They're decentralized groups. There's no board of directors. There's no president. There's no P.O. box. There's no address. There's no location. There are many different examples. There's a lot of MAGA people that think Charlottesville was as awful as any Black Lives Matter liberal Democrat thinks. And there are lots of Black Lives Matter folks that think the rioters in Portland are burning in, public private buildings, burning them to the ground, and Seattle taking over a few blocks of a neighborhood. They're Black Lives Matter folks. Like, that has nothing to do with us. I mean, you can bring up examples of both. I remember the march in Baton Rouge, Black Lives Matter, a few years ago. 2 different marches. Yeah, this Black Lives Matter march. Black folks with white folks, with policemen, all marching together. Same goal, same objective, marching to the Capitol in Baton Rouge. Peaceful march. Got media attention. Then you had these out-of-town agitators that their goal and objective, they can talk it all day long, but they don't want unity. They don't want to walk with some white people and definitely don't want to walk with police. They're the enemy. So they're like, that's the protest, literally. This is a fact. This isn't my opinion. Like, no. Protest ain't over. This march ain't over. We're not stopping at the Capitol. The agitators got some like-minded folks, and they marched towards the police headquarters. And then they took on the police throwing water bottles and rocks. You had the girl that ran up trying to make some like Life magazine type, photo. The girl in like the long dress standing defiant with two cops with the SWAT gear on approaching her. Yeah, they're going to arrest her and arrest a bunch of other people because the protests turned violent. Both are, quote, Black Lives Matter protests, but they're totally different. One is righteous people with a goal, an objective, trying to get there. And then a bunch of agitators that are permanent protesters. They don't want to work with other folks. There's an enemy and it always will be. There's no goal or an objective. It's an endless loop. So no, you can't just say Black Lives Matter under one umbrella, MAGA under one umbrella, because these aren't groups that have, hey, the MAGA president's Fred Smith, P.O. Box 411, Walla Walla, Washington. Oh, Black Lives Matter, they're based out of Atlanta. It's Brenda McGill and Jimmy Smith. They control it. And it's decentralized. There's nobody controlling it. There's no rules or board of directors or guidelines. So Black Lives Matter rioters, MAGA rioters, you can't make those generalizations. Now, if people in Portland and Seattle are saying we're Black Lives Matter protesters and we're going to burn this building, then they are Black Lives Matter protesters. Why would you say they're not? But that doesn't mean it's an all-encompassing thing, and that covers all of Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter approved of this, a board voted for it. No more so than Charlottesville's MAGA folks and folks that like Donald Trump and conservative ideals. They got together and voted for that. That's a bunch of idiots that decided to do it that happen to be MAGA folks. But that doesn't encapsulate MAGA. So these are decentralized groups that you can't just say Black Lives Matter rioters, Black Lives Matter protesters, MAGA rioters, MAGA protesters. It's just different levels, different groups. And it's pretty simple to see. But the extreme left, they just want to say MAGA. And the extreme right, they just want to say BLM and blame it all on these things. Corey Johnson with you, Wide Open Wednesday. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, back in 1849, J.M. LePere. His middle name, the M, is Marshall. That's Latrim spelled backwards. Or Marshall backwards is Latrim. J.M. LePere stepped on the dock on a shrimp in his rubber boot, and the shrimp squirted out clean, and the peeling stayed behind. And right away, he's like, wow, it's got to be a way to make a machine, automated system to peel shrimp. Because everywhere in the world, shrimp were peeled by hand up until 1949. That old hand crank washing machine that you kind of feed the clothes through, the two black rubber wheels. Well, I guess you use the board before to rub them, and then you'd squeeze the water out and do the process over and over again. J.M. LePere took his mom's little hand crank washing machine with the little rubber wheels, made adjustments where the shrimp went in and the peeling squirted out and the shrimp stayed behind. That was like the early shrimp peeling machine. Then he turned it into a machine that wasn't a hand crank, but a big automated machine where you just loaded shrimp on one end and they came out peeled on the other. The conveyor belts that he used to load the shrimp, it's shrimp. So every day after the shrimp peeling machine work's done, you have to clean the machine. It's all stainless steel and metal, easy to clean. Easy to make, materials that are corrosion free. The conveyor belts with those old rubber belts stapled together, the chemicals, bleach, chlorine, whatever they're using to clean the equipment after, the belts were taking a beating. And J.M. LePaire's like, we need a better belt. So he came up with the all-plastic modular conveyor belt. I mean, the guy's a genius. You know the old spiral notebook? Pretend the spiral notebook is a solid piece of plastic. The notebook's a solid piece of plastic, and the spiral is plastic. You remember you could take the old notebooks, you could put two together and run a pencil in between the rings, and you could hold the two notebooks together that way. When you were a kid in school, you might do that. J.M. LePaire took plastic panels with the rings, all plastic, overlapped the rings, put an extruded plastic rod through the holes to hold the belts together. All plastic, modular, piece by piece built conveying system, conveyor belts. They're used around the world. It was to make the shrimp peeling machine better, and then that blew up even much bigger than the shrimp peeling machine. Anheuser-Busch, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Mercedes-Benz, Ford, Volkswagen, cars, beverages, food products, they're rolling down an Intralox belt, all under the Latrim umbrella. Just a culture of innovation, an incredible company. Go online to latrim.com just to learn more if you're a New Orleanian that finds that stuff interesting. Or better yet, if you're looking for a job, a career, hard to do much better than Latrim in Metro New Orleans. They got you covered at their Elmwood facility. They got you covered at their I-12 facility on the North Shore. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Cotton Bowl winning coach Willie Fritz joining us on the program. Have you ever been part of a game that great?
A lot of things happen in the game. You just don't know the script. You got to adapt and improvise. You just got to keep playing hard the whole time. And our guys did an excellent job of that.
How big is yesterday for the overall future of the program?
You got to have a guy that really have a burning desire to get a quality education and also be a great football player. You know, you got to have both.
You've always have embraced New Orleans. You've been a great ambassador for the city, for Tulane University.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife and I just love it here in New Orleans. And just everybody, the city's just sensational. We just a dime for a person who came up to me after game. I had tickets in the old Tulane Stadium. And, I've heard that a ton of times. And then, that's good that we're able to make some people happy.
That's Willie Fritz joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll wave.
The spirit of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on The Neutral Ground.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
the Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Uptown, Carrollton, Riverbend, Holly Grove, Kirktown, Gentilly, Lakefront, West Bank, Lakeview. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. From late morning till, not late night, but 9, 10 o'clock, Katie's in Mid-City. Lunch and dinner 6 days a week, brunch on Sunday, open throughout the day, full of New Orleans characters. If you go to Katie's just a few times over a few weeks and you kind of fall in there around the same time, you'll go, I remember seeing that guy sitting in there. There are people that live in the neighborhood that hit Katie's every day. They're literally folks that live in other neighborhoods that come into the Mid-City neighborhood and hit Katie's every day. And there are even some Katie's characters that live like in Jefferson Parish, St. Bernard, even the North Shore, and they're in Katie's almost every day. Full of New Orleans characters, full of the taste of New Orleans, big portions, New Orleans specialties, old school, from pizza to po' boys, Creole, New Orleans style food, a Mid-City mainstay, Katie's, corner Iberville and Tallahassee in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, Katie's. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. A 3-alarm fire destroying that tire shop on St. Claude and Louisa. The reason I bring this up is post-Katrina, the days and weeks after Katrina, that tire company, that little tire shop kept New Orleanians, including the NOPD, rolling. So much so that the NOPD, each day I would drive by there, there'd be more generators. I would see the NOPD literally dropping off generators, brand new generators they confiscated from folks, whatever. There were about 6, 8, 10, 12 generators sitting there at this tire shop. And you go by there at night, pitch black everywhere. That place was lit up like a light bulb. It was the bright spot. And literally a lot of folks hung around that area, charging phones, putting stuff in a refrigerator, stuff like that. It was like a magnet for the neighborhood. I remember pre-Katrina coming out of Mandich Restaurant Mandich on the riverside, St. Bernard Parish side of Louisa, and on St. Claude at Louisa. I'd come out of Mandich like 10, 10:30, 11 at night, Friday, Saturday night.
there'd be folks fixing tires across the street, activity across the street at that tire shop. And post-Katrina, it saved my ass and the NOPD, literally bringing in generators to keep them alive because they were plugging and replacing NOPD vehicle tires. I must have gone to them a half dozen times to get tires plugged on my car, tooling around the city the days and weeks after Katrina, doing reporting and stuff, like a half dozen times. And they never gouged you. They could have charged 20, 30, 40 bucks a plug. No one would have complained. 10 bucks. I remember giving them a 20 every time. No, keep the change. Thank you. That tire shop burned to the ground. Well, it's still physically there a little, but destroyed by a fire. Let's say that. 3-alarm fire destroys the tire shop at St. Claude and Louisa. Those folks were heroes post-Katrina. And then it got me thinking about wonderful restaurant Mandich across the street. Boy, was that place good. I miss restaurant Mandich post-Katrina. I know it's 20 years later. They opened about a decade ago, maybe 12 years ago, in Slidell for about 6 months as Sapphire. And it was the same family, the English family, mom, dad, Aaron, the son, making the great Mandich food. I went to Sapphire in Slidell a couple of times just to get the trout Mandich was fantastic. Speckled trout with this lemony sauce, this thin veal that was crispy and thin that was fantastic. They had a crab bisque that was to die for. They had crawfish etouffee that you actually wanted to eat. Just really great New Orleans food. I miss the English family. I miss restaurant Mandich. I miss China Blossom, some Trey Yen proteges. You have the Wong family at Audrey Fung and her husband, China Blossom on the West Bank, Stumpf and Wright. That was fantastic Chinese food, just like Trey Yen. I miss them post-Katrina. And Ugelsich's closed before Katrina, probably like 03, 04. I miss Anthony and Gail and Ugelsich's on Barone. Boy, was that good. That's a trio of great restaurants. Ugelsich's and all that great seafood, Mandich seafood and New Orleans food, and China Blossom on the West Bank Chinese food. No, those are all gone and were fantastic. Corey Johnson with you on a Wednesday. You know what else was fantastic on Maple Street? Maple Gardens. They closed around 2002, 2003, like 20 years ago. That young woman that ran Maple Gardens on Maple Street, that was some fantastic Chinese. They had this rib and pork sauce. It was like almost purple. I called it like this nuclear sauce. And it was so good. I'd get the ribs and the pork just to have a lot of that sauce for spring rolls, egg roll, butterfly shrimp, all that kind of stuff. Really good. Oh, food in New Orleans. I was talking tiger sauce last hour. Food in New Orleans. So good. So good. Uh-oh. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, Fausto's opened. They roll till 9 p.m. tonight. Monday through Thursday night, 5 to 9 for dinner. Friday and Saturday night, 9 to 10 p.m. for dinner. Go sit at the bar. Tonight, you could probably dine outside. When the sun goes down, you get that breeze blowing. Outdoor dining, indoor dining, sit at the bar, check out sports action. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. So damn good. I love me some Fausto's. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Hey, tomorrow, another edition of Hillier and Henneken. Right-leaning Quinn Hillier, left-leaning Ellis Henneken join us on the program. President Biden declares a state of emergency for 4 parishes, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, Jefferson, Orleans, this saltwater wedge, this saltwater intrusion coming up the Mississippi River. Over 50 arrested in Philly, this ransacking of stores. This has to stop, this lawlessness. Besides being absurdly obnoxious, some dopey idiot that's looting is going to get shot and killed. Shot and killed. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Where New Orleans talks. Thanks so much for finding us on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. CoreyTalks.com. Live streaming. Corey spelled Kaare. CoreyTalks.com. And we're on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Guess who checks us out every day, 4 to 6 on YouTube? Even checks out programs from the past sometimes. This guy right there. What's that, Blue Boy? YouTube is the easiest way for you personally on your cell phone or laptop, tablet to check out the program. So you watch The Neutral Ground with me on YouTube. Thanks, buddy. What else? Remind folks to join us tomorrow at 4.
You're on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.